Hello everybody, welcome to another Man's Nostalgia. We revisit everybody's favorite shows, movies, and games from the mid-90s to mid-2000s. Don't worry, we'll take the bullet. This week we went back to my first season show, which was Boy Meets World.
Never heard of it.
This week was season 2 of Boy Meets World. Play the theme. So the theme I picked for this one was not the season 2 theme, because the season 2 theme,
season 2 theme is not a theme.
It's like 5 seconds, and
it's not even 5 seconds. It's Corey. It's an animated Corey. Kicking the world.
How to get all the zaniness in there?
And it's like rock music in the background for like 3 seconds. I'll put a clip in here, even though it's not what
cost cutting.
But the reason I use that one is because it's season 4 theme, and I watched the first couple seasons of this show on reruns, and on reruns they play the season 4 theme for the season. So
it's the better theme.
It's a really good theme. I think it's the best theme out of the three main ones.
Is there 3? I don't remember. Is there 3?
I don't know. I like it when they
basically
sing.
There's 3 main ones. Okay. So I think this show really makes a different step to season 2 and season 1. I think y'all have noticed, like, the first 5 minutes how different this show is.
Yeah, no, this is... Are they going towards a different audience, like, when it comes to the age
Yeah, they
group?
definitely are, because I think I said it last time, but...
There's no way they can go towards kids.
No, this was... The first season
It has to be teens.
This first season was definitely Full House. The second season was more Sabrina the Teenage Witch, shows like that. It was going for different atmospheres.
Yeah.
It's for the teenagers.
For the teens.
For the kids. For the kids.
For the teenagers.
The horny teens. That's what it was for.
So,
do you disagree?
No. I mean, there's a lot of... Most of the episodes are about girls.
All the episodes are about
Not
girls.
all of them. There's the one about Sean wanting to play baseball with a motorcycle and destroy motorcycle.
So there was no girls in that episode at all. They weren't talking about girls at all in that episode.
I don't think so.
When it comes to I'm not talking about Corey and Sean. I'm talking about Eric.
Okay, fair enough. Yep, Eric was always talking.
Every single episode was Eric and his friend, and Eric trying
Not
to keep
true.
a
His
girl.
friend was not in every episode. I paid attention.
It was pretty much.
What an annoying friend.
Didn't he leave after this season?
Okay, so fun fact: that guy is. I have his name.
Hold on.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, fun fact theme. Go for it.
Okay, here we go. Boy Meets World fun fact. I don't know anything else. All right.
Okay.
I can't.
I don't think that was as good as last week.
I'm out of creativity
Not as good
today.
as last week.
I don't know. I don't remember the guy's name. The guy who played Jason, who is
Is that
Eric's
Eric's
best friend.
best friend?
Is Will Friedle's best friend in real life.
Okay,
They're actually
cool.
best friends in real life.
Cool.
So
Connection to last show. He played the guy in Batman Beyond. He played Batman Beyond. I don't know.
Will
his
Friedle
name.
did.
Yeah, I don't know his name though.
Will Friedle.
No, Batman Beyond's actual name.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
I just know him as Batman Beyond.
Yeah, he's Batman Beyond. Yeah. So.
And we're unstoppable.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So the first scene, it was him and it's Corey in his kitchen, right, with Morgan, y'all's favorite character. I actually didn't mind Morgan this time.
They didn't change the sister. I thought you said that they
It
were
was
changing the
next
sister
season.
this
Next
season.
season. So you notice how
Next
at the
season?
end she becomes in less and less. At the beginning of the 3rd season, she's not in it for like 3 episodes, and then it's a new Morgan. But they do a better job with her in this season. She's not nearly as funny lines. She has a couple, but they're not nearly.
She's not Michelle.
She's not Michelle from Full House. She's better. She has like a couple funny lines, and that's it. A lot better.
I liked her.
Yeah,
I liked
a lot
her.
more tolerable.
Do you not remember her being tolerable?
In a second season, I don't remember her being in the second season,
Jesus,
which is better. So all I have to say. But anyways, and then Corey goes to high school. So this is kind of the time when they start making these next 4 years of the show into 4 years of high school.
When was 7th grade ever high school?
It's a small school.
It's a super. It's a donut. The school is one donut.
You only see 2 hallways.
Yeah, we can talk about that. I have some fun facts about that too. Okay, but
we see
and a
one
library.
donut, the gymnasium.
That's
a
right.
library.
That is
A library.
off of the donut. The
Is
library.
the library in this season?
No, but we see it.
We
at
see
some
later.
point.
Yeah.
Whatever.
A gym.
And we see the outside of the school, which
Yeah.
is It's like a corner.
Yes, it is. Yep. And the teacher's parking lot.
Yeah.
And all I have to say, so when he walks into high school, you might have noticed this, but so there's no more fun facts like really about season 2. So my only fun facts are from the fact that I have the DVD and it has commentary from like the directors, and I decided to watch those and figure it out. So they hired like 30-year-olds to play the high school kids around them, so that they looked like really small, which is kind of genius.
I mean, that is pretty good.
And it makes sense. And then you get to introduce to like the best characters of the show, which I think is Frankie.
Which he changes. They change him in one of the episodes.
That's not Frankie. That's
Which one's
Harley
Frankie?
Connor. Frankie's a big guy. The enforcer.
The guy that was on
Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans,
And
yeah.
My Name is Earl. Yeah. And then Harley Kiner. Harley Kiner is my favorite. Okay, I have two favorite characters. It's Harley Kiner and Mr. Turner, but we'll get into Mr. Turner.
Mr. Turner's my favorite.
Mr. Turner's great.
Mr.
But
Beanie with an earring.
so there's something about Frankie that cracks me up, and I don't know. It's the way that they do his lines. There's an episode later where
he randomly says something.
like, what do you think? I like my sister.
You say I like my sister? No, that's not what I said. I gotta think.
Yeah, and I like when he has a motorcycle, and they goes, "It's so clean I can eat it." And they go, "You mean eat off?" He's like, "I said what I
That's
said."
what I said.
No.
He just walks off.
Yeah.
This show, like, it took a turn. It took a real
big
big turn when it came to just. It was very like all about girls. Every single episode had something about.
But
girls
when you
in
think
it.
about it, when you're in 7th grade at that point,
I mean,
that's
I
what
think
it is.
It did a really good job showing, like, I guess, how dating is in middle school, because that's how dating was in middle school. It was kind of awkward.
Yeah.
It was kind of, I don't know.
Well, and I think it's also there's a lot of
You were
episodes-
trying to figure some stuff out.
Yeah, and I think it's also interesting when in the episodes they're always like, oh, well, first what you do when you meet somebody is you fall in love. That's how you and it's like and then you date.
and then you hate each other.
And then you hate each other.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
After a week.
But it's like a week.
You
It's a
love
week,
and
yeah.
you love each other.
Yep.
You automatically love each other.
Because
That's how
Topanga
it-
was
that's how
like,
it is. That's
I
how
think
it is in
there was
middle
a
school.
there was
That's
a
how it is
scene
in
where
middle school.
Corey and Topanga was like, I don't want to be with you because after a week we'll just start hating each other.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's so good.
It'll ruin the friendship.
Yeah.
So this season, it seemed like it
Spoilers.
kind of blossomed the relationship between Corey and Topanga.
Kind of. It's like they always hinted at it. They still don't go,
And they outright say
It seems like they would go all out, but then the next episode
did.
They don't.
in that
Like-
one scene.
they did. All right, so
Well, one scene
not
you
that
talking
scene.
about over there, Chris?
So
When they spend the night.
no.
Together.
So my
When they
episode
slept together.
I have notes, and
Jesus.
my note for
Yeah.
episode 7 was Corey and Topanga do it.
They technically did sleep together.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, good.
So it was
Even
episode
Corey
8.
says, "I slept with
I
her."
slept with her.
You are a god. Topanga
Uh,
admits she wants it. That's my note on episode.
Okay.
But Corey. That was when Corey
does
had
she-
mono.
Does she,
And-
does
Oh,
she
yeah,
admit
yeah.
that she wants a kiss, or does she admit that?
So
she wants
Corey
it?
Corey got mono. I think the thing was Topanga was really
That
jealous.
wasn't that episode.
Because yes, it was.
Well, he's skipping far ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying the thing where they hint in and then they outright say it because
Well, that's what she admits that she likes him.
yeah, and because she was jealous, she thought she got it from another girl,
Yeah.
and then Corey was like trying to trick her saying that, and then Topanga outright says, "Yes, I like you,"
Yeah.
and then they just don't talk about that for another few
That's
episodes.
very...
What episodes did we watch? We didn't.
Oh, okay,
what
yeah.
episodes
So we
we
watched episodes 1 through 10,
Yep.
15,
16.
15 and 16, and then 18 through the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is the
Justin,
main
what
episodes.
episodes did you not watch?
I think it was just that Wolfman one.
I might just accidentally skip that one.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Apparently.
I liked
What?
the parents in this season a lot better than the first
Oh, they're
season.
so good.
They were always good though.
The dad, though, like, man, they're really defining him out, and it's really good. Because even that scene that we were talking about where he said, "You are a god," and he was like, "What makes my son so godlike?" And it's like, that's intimidating. Like, what do you say to that if the dad says that? And
like
then,
I know him.
And then you have the grocery episodes, which I think we should talk about that at the end. Like the 2 episodes at the end about Sean and his arc.
Well, those are the last couple episodes
Yeah.
of the season, so
Yeah.
it just makes sense. When it comes to like Sean's story, they started to go a lot more darker in this season than they did in the last season.
Pretty early on.
They didn't really mention it at all.
They
just
hint.
they hinted at it. Well, at the very beginning of this season, they hinted at it as
well. So the first time they mention it is the first season with the mailbox, right? He blows up the mailbox, and then this is the season when they really start making the turn, and it gets more and more as the show goes on, and it gets darker and darker. He's the character that, like, it's hard to explain. He's a character that, like, nothing good happens to. Like, there's times where things good happens to him, but it always ends in tragedy with Sean.
Which is funny because Corey's always trying to be him.
But Sean, I feel like he always tries to play it off as something positive. And that's what makes his character so good.
Later it doesn't, but yes.
It makes it realistic.
It does.
Because that's what kids do. Like, if something tragic happens to a kid, they're not going to kind of mope about it. They're going to try to play it off as something...
either funny or
funny.
Yeah,
something like that. That's just the normal reaction that a human being has. I think it's really cool that show actually did that.
Yeah, and I really want to talk about his arc at the end. So then you meet Turner, Mr. Turner, which is a great character.
Feeny with an earring.
Fear with an earring.
I don't know how many times you guys say that.
So that's what Corey calls him in the first episode. But what a great teacher. Do you guys have a teacher like that?
I feel like I'm the teacher like that.
Okay.
No.
For all y'all who think that John has self-esteem issues, I know, but he doesn't, I promise.
He was definitely an updated Feeny.
Yes. Feeny was like the old classic timey teacher that you kind of have.
Yeah.
And then like that kind of has his own ways and everything like that. And then Turner would be like the young teacher that comes in and like everyone likes him.
But he still has his own ways though. He's still Feeny.
Yes.
Like I joke about the Feeny with an earring, but he really is. He just has a different twist to him.
Yeah. Well, and they don't really...
He's not as direct.
They have different points of views about how to teach.
Yep.
And he's not as direct.
It's a new style, it's an old style.
And they're both right in certain ways. And in certain times and throughout the season, they're both right, which makes it good. Because they could have easily brought in Mr. Turner, had him be like a rock star and like the best teacher ever.
And headbutt with Feeny.
And have Mr. Feeny not be as awesome as he is in the first season and later seasons. But they really like stuck with it. And like they made them both good, and
because now
it's hard to pull off.
Because now you have Feeny more in a mentor role, where he's like, "Hey, Mr. Turner was trying to tell you something.
Yeah,
like this is what he was trying to show you.
Yeah,
like even though he may not agree with how Mr. Turner does things sometimes, like they're basically the same person in the fact that they're trying to convey something to these kids.
Yeah,
well, that's what a good teacher is.
And Mr. Feeny will do it in a way to where, like you said, traditional, where he will make sure you know it. But Mr. Turner will have you go through like a life lesson to learn it that way. They're both right. You know what I mean? They both appeal to different things. I think it's really good.
What teacher would you rather have? Would you rather have Mr. Turner or Mr. Feeny?
Mr. Turner.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Really?
I feel like Justin's a Feeny. Like that's his teaching style.
He's a Feeny.
Like that's his teaching style.
There's no way you're Mr. Turner.
You've never seen me teach.
You're no way you're Mr. Turner.
I'm a me.
I've heard stories. You've told me, not like from other people.
I'm a me.
Okay, you're a me.
Okay.
Right. But if you had to choose on the scale,
if you had to choose between which teacher that
I'm probably close to Feeny.
Okay.
That's what we were trying to predict.
I'm not Mr. Feeny though.
That's what we're
no, I don't believe you're Mr. Feeny.
I mean, I would love to be Mr. Feeny.
Sure.
That's his goal.
That's your goal.
It's my life goal.
Okay, so there you go. We have her answer.
One day you'll get there, man. I trust you.
Okay, so there was an episode where we were talking about like the differences between Feeny and Turner, where the kids give their test back to Turner because before he said that you don't have to take this test, and then Feeny convinces Turner.
The episode is if anyone wants to watch, is me and Mr. Jode. It's the episode when they're reading the Grapes of Wrath.
They rioted.
Yeah,
and, would you ever give your test back to a teacher?
No.
would you have the balls to do that?
I mean, Corey looks like he's like stunned that he does it. Remember when he walks back to his desk?
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, what did I just do?"
But then luckily everybody folloes.
So this is.
But I mean, at the same time,
they're talking about like kind of standing up for like their rights or whatever.
Well, yeah, the story is that he says everybody's concerned about the test, and Mr. Turner wants to say, I don't care about the test. If you read the book, you don't take a test. And then Mr. Feeney's concerned that they're not going to read the book because they don't take a test. And then they walk in and he makes them take a test, and that's why they all freak out.
Because even Sean was like, even I read the book.
Yeah. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, that's good.
This is where I kind of realized that not not every episode in this season had the meaning that the first season had. Like I feel like some episodes in this season are just for pure entertainment, and then some episodes have a meaning.
Yeah.
And this was one of the first episodes this season that had the actual meaning in it. I think the first season or the first episode did.
Yeah. Well, I think you mean it had a meaning in it? Yeah, I would
like a moral lesson at the very end.
Okay.
Okay, how'd you guys? Okay, you mentioned the bullies. How'd you guys feel about the bullies in this?
Harley Kiner is incredible.
He's awesome.
He is one of my favorites.
Okay, we'll skip ahead a little bit because I really want to know about what happened. He left like episode 15 or something, like 16, and then just never came back. They replaced him with another guy.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
here's what
they got him out of the show.
Here's when it went down. So he's in the first 10 episodes. He signed on for that many amount of episodes.
Okay.
They could not agree on a price to bring him back, and they had already written the episode where Sean tries to hit Turner's bike, and they needed a Harley Kiner. Yeah. So they recasted. Worst decision ever. Just don't have that episode. Have it some other way. Have it with Adam Scott later. You don't need Griff, whatever he's called in this show. Oh, I was so upset when they changed him. Because
when I realized it, I was like, "This is awful." Because you could tell the actor watched the episodes of
he's impersonating him.
and he was trying to impersonate him.
Yes,
and he was doing an awful job.
Yeah, and then they couldn't agree on a price, so they kicked him out completely. Said he went on to military school.
Yeah,
and they brought in Adam Scott, which Adam Scott wasn't terrible.
He was good.
Yeah,
and he's a famous actor too.
Yeah, and he becomes. But they should have done it they shouldn't have even tried to recast him.
It was dumb.
I think the only reason they did it is because there's that line when he's about to hit the bike, and then Mr. Turner comes down and he goes,
I think if you put your mind to it and get back inside that school, and never go near this Harley or that Harley, yeah, I think you'll be all right.
That's the only reason they kept that in there.
They were like, look, this is gold. I stayed up all night. We are not cutting this out.
There was one writer that was just fighting for it.
This is the only thing I have to my name.
No, but then he kept threatening to quit.
Let's just go and talk about the Harley.
He was the guy in the writing room who was like, look, I wrote the Harley and Harley line. You need to listen to me.
Let's go talk about Harley and Harley. Or let's talk about the Harley.
How old were those bullies, in real life when they played it? Because
he
looks so freaking old.
Oh yeah, I think. Harley was 30. Okay. I think Frankie and Joey were both in their 20s.
Yeah.
Frankie was older, I think. Okay, let's talk about Lobo. Let's just do Harley's arc. Let's just do that now. So, Harley's arc is interesting to me, and I think it's really funny. And I think they really define it well because there's an episode where Frankie is doing poetry, and he goes, I'd like to dedicate this to my friends who like to remain nameless. And they show Harley, he's completely embarrassed. But how cool!
He puts his head down.
But how cool is it that he's there? He's there for his friends, even though he doesn't he's clearly the leader. It cracks me up. And let's talk about TK. Because I really want to talk about TK.
That's Harley's younger sister.
So so there's an episode where
Harley's he's the main bully, by the way.
Right.
He's the leader of all the bullies.
And if you saw a picture of him and you've ever seen Boy Meets World, you know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
So Corey's mom tells him that he needs to be nicer and more polite, and so he runs into a girl at school and he picks up her books for her, and it turns out it's this girl named TK. TK is fast. And easy.
TK's insane. She's freaking insane.
And there's a lot of... We can talk a little bit about just how slutty she is. Let's be honest. That's what she is. But you find out later that it is Harley Kiner's sister. I don't know if y'all noticed. The first scene with TK, she's wearing a skirt.
And her belly showing? Is that what you're talking about?
That. But did you see what the skirt said?
No. So
it is a skirt, and right across the area says sex kitten. And my first thought was, I hope it's not what I think it is. Maybe it's a band. So I looked up, not a band. It just says sex kitten on her skirt.
Okay.
So we all know what kind of character she is.
The first time that I realized,
Corey.
The first time that I realized that it was not a kid's show anymore.
You are gone.
I understood they were going they were saying girls and stuff like that, and I kind of got some of the references, but I was like, you know what, this could still be kind of a kid-ish show.
Yeah.
The first time I realized is when the mom came out in the 90, like the
Oh,
lingerie.
yeah, the lingerie.
She threw it back.
The Adore Me.
that was.
Did you think it was coming?
It's not a kid showing. I was not thinking.
You didn't think it was coming?
No.
I mean, she came out with that big robot. And you didn't think she was gonna just throw it off?
I mean, I kind of thought that, but then again, like my thought process was like,
It's
no,
still-
they wouldn't do that.
Right.
This is still kind of a kid show.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
They proved me wrong.
There's
It's definitely an adult show.
There's a lot of little innuendos.
There is, and I have a couple more written down we can go over. But yeah, and then at one point he's she tries to make out with him in the car, and he goes, "Why don't you slow down a little bit?" She says, "I'm not that type of girl." I mean,
Yeah.
This girl was crazy.
Well, and I thought it was kind of funny because he's telling Harley like, "Oh, she goes too fast." He's like, "What?" And he turns to like 5 guys behind him and he goes, "Does TK go fast?" And everyone's like, "Yeah, yeah." He goes, "That's my sister." They go like, "Oh, no, of course not."
Dude, it's so funny because they're like, "Oh yeah," like they're all like, "We've all been there."
It's like we all know the experience.
We rode that train.
You gotta go back.
Okay, how old is she?
I think
Like,
she's
what
supposed to-
grade is she? Is she in 7th grade?
Yeah, because she goes into Corey's homeroom.
Yeah, that's true.
Which how she pulled that off?
I don't know.
She got Mr.
Or
Turner.
she was like a 9th grader. She's like, I pulled it off.
Let's talk about Corey with the girls. So the first time you see stuff with Corey with the girls is when he's trying to pair off with somebody, and he meets Wendy, who turns out is a girl he decides not to like. He goes on a date with, but not really a date because he doesn't really know her, and he doesn't even know her name.
Yeah.
At the same point, though, Eric has a girl over to study who wants to see a tour of the house, which that was a good turning point for his dad. Is when when they find the earring, and she's like, he's like, you know what, I'm going to talk to him. And she's like, no, I don't want to see any of that attaboy. And that's what he does. And then he goes, Dad, she sat on the bed and went like this. And he goes,
That was good.
Like, what do you
like,
do?
what are you supposed to do here?
yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
the next time that Corey's trying to get a girl is the band episode, which is a good episode. When he starts a band with Sean. Even though
That was a cringing episode for
you didn't
me.
like it?
I mean,
Him playing was
Yeah, because the dad was like, "We did it for the love of the music," and Corey's like, "I just want to get chicks."
Also, what's funny about the episode is that Corey is in a panic and trying to decide a name for his band so that they can write it down. He looks at Sex Ed, Blood Drive, which are okay band names, and he goes with The Exits, which is great. Fun fact about that episode. The guy who plays the lead singer, the guy with the black ponytail, you know what I'm talking about? In Alan's band.
Yeah,
Mikey Donlez is his name.
Dongless.
Donlez. He is one of the lead singers of the band The Monkees from the 60s.
That's cool.
Well, the only reason that's cool is because later when the Career Day episode, Peter Tork plays Topanga's father, who plays the guitar,
Yeah.
also a member of The Monkees. And then in the third season, Davy Jones, who was the lead singer of The Monkees, comes in, and they all play together, which is kind of cool.
Huh.
There's a fourth
Why?
one, but none of them were in it.
Hey, why does everyone use the same locker?
Good question.
It's the only
It's
one
that
that worked.
locker at the very end.
Yep.
And everyone uses it. It's Sean's locker.
It's Sean's
It's
locker.
Eric's locker. It's Corey's locker.
Yeah.
It's Ben Topanga's locker. Do they switch every day?
Also, the door that goes over to the side it's Mr. Feeney's office because it's the Notorious episode.
And it's like bathrooms.
It's a boys' bathroom, girls' bathroom, and janitor's room.
And then magically turns into the senior hallway
It
later
does turn into the senior hallway later. Yeah.
with a couch.
the couch. That's right. Yeah. So,
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do with limiting those games.
I mean, you do.
Yeah.
Cost cutting.
Cost cutting, yep. Well, it's
I
like,
just feel like you could have made the high school just a little bit bigger.
well, yeah. Well, at least cut it so it looks like it. Because, like you're saying, they run around and they come back like in 2 seconds. It's like, how big is this? There's like 4 classrooms in here.
I'm sure there's a joke about that somewhere.
Kind of, probably so. Yeah. What else like about the band episode is that all the 4 old guys are sitting there talking, and they all ask. This is what they ask for to drink: blended carrots, diet iced tea, and mineral water. And he wants a beer. And Amy has all of that in her fridge. Like, what a mom! What a great mom!
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the girls. So then the makeout party. Did y'all ever go to a makeout party?
No.
Is that a real thing?
I don't think it is.
A
Unless we
makeout
just
party?
weren't cool enough.
Like 7 minutes in heaven.
I don't think we were cool enough.
John,
Were you cool enough?
John, no.
You had a little more
Listen to
street
this
cred
shit.
than
I'm
us.
not gonna answer that.
You went to okay. You went to makeout party.
I didn't go to a makeout party.
Like
but
it said on
I've
the
played that game
invitation,
before.
makeout party.
You what?
I didn't go to a makeout party, but I've played that game before.
7 minutes in heaven.
Yeah.
How old were you?
7.
Um,
Get it? Never mind.
7th grade.
Really?
Yeah,
Thanks for inviting me.
6th grade.
Yeah, thanks for the
6th grade.
invite.
I think I was in 6th grade.
How'd that go?
Okay, wait. No, I want to know about this because this is part of my questions on here. So, did you go into a closet with a girl
Yep.
How'd that go?
for 7 minutes?
We didn't make out for that long.
Did you get boob?
But did you make out for some of it?
Did you get boob?
I was gonna say 7 minutes is a long time.
No, we didn't make out for 7 minutes.
John, did you get boob?
Huh? I didn't get moved.
7 minutes is a long time.
No, I didn't do 7 minutes.
What'd y'all do? Just like talk the other time?
We
or just-
talked.
There were some really good Topanga Corey moments.
There was.
was.
Yeah, it was really good.
The only thing that I had a problem with that is you would think that the next, like, they would make out, they would kiss, and then all this stuff would happen with them, and you think that eventually they're they're dating now.
Right.
And then the next episode, you see him chasing another girl.
It is weird. They don't really start dating till the 3rd season, and then
Yeah.
they actually date.
Okay.
Well, wait. Is it the end of? No, they date in the 3rd season.
Okay. It just, I don't know.
Yeah. No, it is weird.
They do a lot of weird things with Corey and Topanga's relationship because they retcon a lot of stuff.
They do. Yeah.
I'm really excited to talk about episode 15.
Okay.
And this episode is with the crazy girl.
Wendy. Yes.
This is the Bira episode.
This is
That's why I
So-
wrote 15. It
so-
literally just says.
Should we explain what
this-
beer
It
is?
literally just says Bira.
You think
Wait,
anybody
I know
knows?
Chris has to because
All right,
Chris
we
came
can
up
explain,
with
we can
it.
explain what beer is.
Chris came
All right,
up
so
with it.
Chris started this club in high school, which was so stupid. But
Go ahead.
This is how guys are in high school. We're stupid.
Look,
Go ahead.
the
It was
three
junior year.
the three of us had like gone through some terrible girl issues at this time, right?
Yes.
And all at the same time, and I noticed a trend that these here's what happened, is that these girls, we were all considered nice dudes, nice guys.
We were pretty hot.
We were nice guys, right?
We were pretty
And
popular.
these girls would end up not picking us over jerks and guys that were like complete assholes, right? So I
I learned
decided
my lesson and became an asshole later in my life.
that is true. So what I decided to do was make a group where we were not going to care about girls, which wasn't true, but it made it.
Went away very quickly.
But it did make but it did make me seem like a jerk to some girls that I wanted to get some revenge on.
So he goes.
Yeah.
So this is what happens. So he comes up to me. Or this is the stupidest thing. It's an orchestra practice.
That's right.
he has his paper. He goes, dude, look at this.
So
he
I-
already had like a sign
made
made.
a
I'm like,
poster.
what is BURA? He's like, no, Biora.
Bura, and it stands for Bachelors Until Rapture Association.
And I'm like, what the hell is this?
And the poster was a picture of 3 guys drunk, and it said with ties on their heads, and it said, "Why would you ever want to leave this for this?" It had a picture of a girl crying, and I hung it up around the school. My friend also hung up around the school. Went to ISS for it. My band director.
Probably because it had beer in it.
Well, he said that there's a link to our MySpace page. That's to tell you how old this was.
Oh,
And then my
but yeah,
band,
we have a Facebook group too.
we do. Yep. Ah man, it lasted for a good amount of time.
A couple months.
Whenever we break
For
up
about
with a
half a
girl,
year.
we were
We'd
like,
bring it
oh,
About
up.
half a year it lasted. So anyway, when it comes to
John's trying to distance
this
himself.
show,
completely.
and
Oh, John was all over it.
He was into it.
John hit girls. It's like Bura.
You're a bitch.
That's not what happened. That's not what happened. All right, so
The Wendy episode.
This crazy girl comes into the picture, Wendy, and I guess Corey just randomly decides, hey, Wendy's cute. Let's date. Is that's what basically happened, right?
Pretty much.
Okay, so you find out that Wendy is a little cuckoo. She is planning her.
A little.
She's planning to have kids with him.
Yeah.
She's planning. Oh, so it starts off as the summertime. She
Right.
goes, "Hey, what are you gonna do for summer?" And
She's-
Corey's like, "I don't know. This is like fall." I don't really
Now
have any
the
plans for summertime.
the very first thing she says though about it, she's like, I'm looking for a long relationship. And when you're in 7th grade, it should have been like a
right.
This was definitely my favorite. This was definitely my favorite episode.
Okay.
I thought this episode was so freaking funny.
It was really good. And you know what's funny is that this came out pretty quickly after the TK episode.
Yeah.
And in my head, I was like, I can...
TK's crazy in my head. I was like, she's...
But in my head, I can specifically remember a TK I knew in high school. And I can specifically know a Wendy that I knew in high school. And it's funny to see them, like, act it out in this show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you knew a crazy girl who was planning out the future, and you also knew a easy girl. You know what I mean? Those are the people that you knew, and it's just... they nail it.
How did you like him as old?
So good.
So what they did is...
They want you to take the
roles.
roles.
That's my favorite line in the whole series.
So what they did was...
I quote that all
Corey
the
and
time.
Sean are talking, and Sean kind of convinces him, like, maybe this is... Because they want to say that they're going to break up in a week, and he keeps trying to break up with her, and she's not taking it well. So eventually they discuss that, hey, you know what? Maybe it's okay if we just end up together forever.
Right.
And so it goes to the future, and it goes to a future Sean, a future Wendy, and a future Corey.
Yep.
And
future Mr. Feeney.
future Mr. Feeney. That's just Mr. Feeney.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious, Corey.
Oh,
Corey's
man.
freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
He's
What?
old.
How long you been married? Who? What? They want you to take the roles.
And then they say the best... Oh, and this episode has the best line, which is when they're at the family dinner.
Which all the guys know she's crazy.
Yeah.
Like they
Well,
immediately picked up
They
on it.
figure it out.
No,
quick.
that is my favorite scene of the
The whole scene is great.
The whole scene is. So what happens is Corey wakes up and Wendy's over at his house making waffles in the morning.
Right.
And that's when he starts to realize, hey, maybe it's not too bad that if we like start to date because like she's a good cook and everything. And then the next scene,
Get in the kitchen,
is-
woman.
the next scene,
Mira.
Corey does love his,
the next
does his
scene
waffles.
is her in like sitting down with them at dinner, and she's like talking about like their life together and everything like that. And the dad picks up on it pretty fast. So yeah, so the dad's like, "Hey, Corey, can I please speak to you outside?"
Yeah.
Nutcase?
You think?
And they walk back in.
It's so great.
And then at this point, the mom's like, "This is so sweet." She's getting along with Morgan. She's like playing house.
Yeah,
And then
he goes, she got all the ladies.
yeah. Oh, she got your mom. She got Morgan. But then what turns the mom is that
She goes, the mom's, okay, she goes upstairs,
Yeah.
and the mom's arguing, hey, like, she seems so sweet, she's so cute. Like, if she was crazy, my alarms would be going
Yeah.
off. And then she comes down and she goes, I found this picture. Where was this picture? I don't even know. Was it in the bedroom?
probably in a safe. She's like, pick the lock. This girl's nuts.
So she comes down with this
She's got her
picture.
hairpin.
She comes down with a picture of the mom in a wedding dress, and she's like, "Oh, this is so sweet. Like, maybe one day this is gonna be me in the dress." The mom's like,
Right.
Next episode is my second favorite episode. That's the episode with the roller coaster
Okay.
with the danger.
So, fun fact, personal. This is the first episode I ever watched.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I remember.
It's a great episode.
It's a great. I remember watching this show for the first time. I didn't quite get the dynamics. I didn't quite get that Corey was like safe or whatever. But that part at the end with the roller coaster when they flip sides, I just remember as like an 8-year-old just cracking up. Like I thought that was the funniest thing ever.
Funny.
To prove that they're dangerous to their to the staff and to Eric. Corey and Mr. Feeney decided to go ride a new roller coaster together, which is considered the scariest roller coaster of all time. And
it has my favorite line in it.
Go for it.
Okay. It's the owner of the amusement park,
Yeah.
and they go.
Although Adventure Park owner Leonard Swindell claims the ride is entirely safe, he is nevertheless requiring that all riders sign a catastrophe waiver, indemnifying the park against what Mr. Swindell calls an act of God. Mr. Swindell, if the ride's so safe, why the waiver?
Things happen.
Oh, it's so funny.
So Mr. Feeney and Corey are there with their barf bags hanging around their neck. And then Mr. Turner and Eric show up, try to get him out. They decide they're going to get out, but the ride's already going.
Yeah.
Rolls back in, and it starts out with Corey in the front, Mr. Feeney in the back, but it rolls back in, and Mr. Feeney's in the front and Corey's in the back. So they flip faces at some point in the ride. And they explain
their faces are freaking hilarious. It was so funny.
Yep.
So the first scene, or the first line that Corey says is, "I threw up a piece of cake."
Yeah, he goes, piece of cake, and they're like, and then you're thinking he's talking about the ride. He goes, I threw a piece of cake. And then they explain.
They're talking to Feeney. He's like,
they explain how he got in the front, and how he got in the front was that Corey flew out, was holding on to the back. Mr. Feeney lunged to the front, and then Corey had to crawl in the back. The whole thing is so ridiculous, but man, it was funny. When Holly Turner leaves to military school, they want to find a new person to follow. And they try to follow Eric, but Eric won't let them. So then this new guy comes in. His name's Griff, and he's completely different than Holly Kiner. He's not a thug. He's like a playboy, and he like loves all the ladies love him.
his first scene was hilarious.
With Mr. Feeney?
With Mr. Feeney.
In the principal's office?
In the principal's...
Yeah, he's in the principal's office. This guy's in the principal's office, and Mr. Feeney's like, man, based on your record, I thought you
wouldn't even think that you were the same person.
Yeah, I thought you were going to be really nice, but you've been really respectful and all that stuff. And then Griff actually walks in. He paid this kid to sit in for Mr. Feeney.
He's like, I wanted to have a good impression.
Right, exactly. Adam Scott, great actor. He is Ben in Parks and Rec, for anybody who watches Parks and Rec. He's also the brother in Step Brothers.
Yeah, he's done a lot of movies.
He's in a lot.
He's a very famous.
He's probably the most famous guy in the show. It's safe to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
So I'll have to say. But he's like a ladies' man, so he likes to use Joey and Frankie as like his posse, so they can like protect him from these girls' boyfriends that he is like banging. So
what's that mean? Can you explain that?
Yeah, I think you know. I'll have to say,
which was hilarious when those bullies protect him from the football players.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he's like, get home by 8.
I laughed so hard at that line.
Yeah, that's a good one. And then, so then he's going to ISS in an episode, and he might get expelled. And Joey and Frankie kind of freak out because they don't know what they're going to do with their lives. And Joey decides he's going to make a name for himself. At this same point,
Joey's a little bully.
Joey's a little bully. So at this same point, though, is when Corey is...
Yeah, so you can explain your plot of the
so he joins the wrestling team.
Corey does.
Because
it's the right weight. That's all he really had to do, was be the right weight.
One of my favorite parts is they give him a jacket and a girl.
And a girl that comes with the jacket.
Her name's Candy. She follows the jacket.
And like later on in the episode, when they take the jacket away from me, he's like, "Candy, where are you going?" Oh, I follow the jacket.
I also love how Candy can crush 2 cans of Coke on her forehead.
But the thing in this is Corey actually beats Joey, right?
He does.
Yeah, so
the first time he beats Joey in like an actual wrestling match.
Yeah, so he's actually pretty decent.
Yeah,
at what he does.
Well, I mean, he's not. Well, Joey also sucks.
I say he's decent.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it would have been a really cool if he would have stayed in the wrestling team. I think it would have been a really cool story arc for his character. You know?
Sure. No, would have.
I mean,
but what he becomes is great in itself.
Because he's like working out.
Yeah. But yeah, and then so and then because he beats Joey wants to fight him for real. And so they do this underground. They're gonna meet at the gym at midnight to fight.
And Corey asks Eric to be there.
Yeah,
I think, but he's like no. And then Eric shows up. He's like, "Oh, see, I got a ticket." It's like ass kicking,
and it's like a boxing rink.
Hold on. One of my favorite scenes in this episode is when he's jumping rope and
it breaks.
There's no rope.
There's no rope. He's jumping rope and
cut.
Sean comes in and he's like, that was impressive. And he stops and he lifts up the rope and it's like 2 ropes.
I thought it broke.
No, it's just 2 halves.
No, it's just 2 ropes. He's just swinging it.
But they have this huge boxing rink, and they have people there, and then they have celebrity guests, and I guess one of them's from Baywatch.
They have Yasmin Bleak.
Is that her name?
Yasmin Bleak.
I know who that was. I knew who Vader was.
And she's
on Baywatch, and she's one of the most famous Baywatch. Yeah.
Which is funny because she's probably really famous at this time, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And Adam Scott is not. and he gets to make out with her. Right? And then, like, he became something, and she's not really doing anything, I imagine, because I haven't heard of her.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. And then your favorite guy comes in.
It is Robert Goulet.
Robert Goulet.
Goulet.
The only reason we know who Robert Goulet is because of the Will Ferrell sketch from the SNL from the 90s.
Yeah.
Which you should look up. It's really funny.
That's why I come up here. Nature, Goulet.
Yeah, and then who comes in?
And then Vader comes in.
So you said this is an actual wrestler.
Yeah, I believe he was ECW or WCW. I
He
can't
looks
remember.
like an actual wrestler.
He did.
He's a big dude.
He's
too.
a very big guy.
But he had a lot of big matches with like Ric Flair
Oh, yeah.
and people like that. So he was a pretty famous wrestler. At the
Bonesaw McGraw.
Bonesaw.
Bonesaw was Macho Man.
Oh, yeah, I know. Just kidding. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the best storyline of this, and that's Sean, because this is the last couple seasons.
Yeah.
So
This guy sets up a lot of seasons after this.
it does set up a lot. So there's an episode. The first episode that you kind of get a hint is when the Mr. Weenie. He's the one that keeps going on the Mr. Weenie jokes, but then you really start to get a feel of it with the fake Harley Kiner, and it's called Beyond the Tracks or whatever it's called. And this is the episode when a rich girl wants to date him, but then she says you can't because her parents will let her date somebody who comes from a trailer park.
Yeah.
And he decides that, this is when he starts pushing Corey away, and this becomes a big thing in the later seasons. He always pushes Corey away when he gets upset about stuff, and it's like a dynamic between them, which is a total actual thing that happens. And so, but then he realizes Corey's his friend. So then it starts the last two episodes, which is the best two, I think, of this season. Like, it's not my favorite, but it's like the best plot-wise. And it starts with Career Day, when...
Well, is it the only episode that kind of is continuing? Like, it's like it
No, there's more later.
No, like
in this season. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the episode about this Career Day, and Corey's really embarrassed that his dad's going to be there talking about groceries, which is really funny.
But it's also really good development for his dad too, because he also kind of realizes how like hard his dad works.
Exactly. Yep. And how... Yeah, and it's very
talking about
interesting.
Corey's dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he completely bombs Corey because he goes after Topanga's, who builds guitars, who's the guy, the Monkees, Peter Tork, right?
Yeah.
And
he built a guitar for what?
How many dads
Bruce
has Topanga had?
Springsteen. Huh?
How many dads has Topanga had?
Was the first.
And moms?
He comes back.
Oh, okay. So is this I wanted
This is
to
the
ask
first
you this.
dad.
Is this the first episode that they showed his dad?
Yep.
Or her dad and his
and
dad?
Sean's dad. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. He comes back in the third season. Peter Tork does. After that, it's another dad for Topanga. They switch like 3 or 4 times in this show.
Does Sean's dad say the same?
Yes, he does, and he
Okay.
is perfect. Chet. Yep. The guy who is the new Slinky because the original Slinky died in Toy Story.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he comes in. He's also in Home Improvement. So Corey's completely embarrassed by his boring dad. Sean's dad comes in. Sean didn't even realize he was coming, and it's funny because Sean doesn't know what he does. He's like, what does your dad do exactly? He's like, I'm here to find out too, or something like that. So then she tells him he created CNN. He did all this. He created the microwave. Yeah, exactly. And it's all a lie. And Sean gets upset. So he finds Sean later and tells him that his mom moved out, and his mom took the house with him.
And that's why his dad was
because
there.
Sean lives in a trailer.
Yeah, that's
So
why
Chet's gotta go find him.
And that's why Chet was there. And Chet has to go find them. So Chet's going to let him stay with the Matthews. And that's ridiculous. And it's a huge burden.
Yeah,
First he puts in a hotel.
Yeah, first he lives in a hotel, and then he goes to Mr. Turner's because the hotel's right next to his
And
apartment.
it's sketchy. It sounds like a sketchy hotel.
Hey, I want to ask you something. So, Mr. Turner and this social studies teacher.
Yeah,
Has
I love
anything happened between them, like
So-
later on in seasons?
No.
Because
No.
it's weird.
At the end when they kiss each other,
Yeah.
that's like her saying goodbye to him.
Is it?
Yeah, because he chooses Sean over her.
Okay.
But what a crazy person. She wants to hear "I love you" after 4 months. They say Sean, or she says Jonathan. We've been dating for 4 months, and I just told you I love you.
She's 30, and she.
Clock's ticking.
Yeah. Yep.
She doesn't want to be an old maid. That's for sure.
Basically.
Anyways,
I mean, I'll snatch her up.
All right.
she's a looker.
For the dads.
Remember she leaves like panties at his house?
Did you guys think she was good looking? I thought
No,
she
it
was.
wasn't.
I thought she was good looking.
I
She's
think
good
so.
looking? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that panties or is that like a birth control thing? I don't know what that was.
What?
You remember
Oh,
she
in
was
the bag?
Was in the bag.
I was in the bag. I don't understand what was in the bag.
No.
I think it was either panties or
What was in the bag?
John Rodell was in the bag. What is it?
I don't know.
It's either birth control or
in the box? What's in
panties
the box?
or lingerie.
I was thinking, because at first I was like, it's a toothbrush, and I was like, no.
They wouldn't be acting so
No,
weird.
they would be acting so weird.
Right,
Toothbrush.
right.
It's a gimp suit.
Dildo,
It's a
perhaps.
vibrator.
Anyways,
All right. So anyway, so then Sean stays there, but then he ends
Some
up.
anal beads.
good lord.
What if Mr. Feeney would have saw that?
Oh, I have that brain.
Let me take those from you. Okay, so all I have to say. Okay, so he stays tonight. What?
Did my anal beads get you off track?
Yes.
He's thinking about his own. Set.
Where did I put them?
So he stays tonight with
Did I leave
Turner.
him in?
Sean stays with Mr.
Gross.
Turner. Sean stays with Mr. Turner for the night, and then
And then Turner calls
the Matthews, yeah.
Corey's parents.
And they decide to keep him until Chet comes back. And Chet said it's only going to take two weeks because
Texas women couldn't keep me from here.
And at this point, you find out how good of a father he is because Alan does it without even thinking about it, and he's like straight. You can tell it's going to stress him out. That's like a huge budget. You know what I mean? You have an extra.
Yeah,
kid.
and in previous episodes, and maybe even this episode, he was talking about how they're not really financially stable.
Right. Exactly. Yep. So the next episode is about it's been like a month, and there's been no Chet.
Shit.
Chet.
Chet.
Shitty Chet.
We're gonna call him.
Yeah, shitty Chet.
Shitty Chet.
Yeah, that's what we'll call him. And Sean's getting antsy. He wants to go be a dog, be free, and the parents are being a little bit more limited and stuff.
Isn't Eric at the time stressing about the SATs, or something?
Yes, he is. Yeah,
This
yeah, he
episode
is.
too.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to talk. We forgot about Eric and that Southern girl.
Let's just keep going.
Yeah.
Can't stay on Sean.
Okay. Anyway, so then he keeps getting out. He gets caught with spray paint by a cop because he keeps sneaking out at night.
Yeah.
And
Out of the Matthews house.
at the Matthews house, and then Turner decides to take him in, and that's how the season ends, basically.
It also starts at the point where I think I liked Mr. Turner even more because I think he kind of, I don't know if he either recognized it or he really thought that way, but he knew that Sean wasn't looking for just like a handout from somebody.
Right.
He either really thought I really don't need you in here, but I know you need something
Yeah.
from me,
Yeah.
and I need something from you, or I could never tell how serious he was about that.
I think he was serious. I think that's what he decided. He didn't need a wife. He needed something like that. And maybe you're right. Maybe he just said that so that Sean would feel like he.
It wasn't like charity.
It wasn't charity.
It was like, hey,
He was
this.
this is for me more than it is for you, but it wasn't necessarily true. You know.
Because when you think about it, it's like, why would you need to bring in a kid?
Yeah. Exactly.
Like that's a huge burden.
Yeah. And that's where the third season starts. Is with him living with Turner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it does.
Are they in 8th grade at the time, or?
This is when it starts getting weird. So they're through 7th grade through this whole thing. 8th grade becomes 8th grade through sophomore year. In 1 year. And given, when you start watching season 3, there's a big difference between Corey. He is built out, he's a lot taller, and
You can see him.
He goes through
You can
puberty.
see them growing through the season.
his voice
too.
drops. You can tell, in the last
in
couple
season
episodes.
3?
No, in the last couple episodes of season
Oh,
2,
yeah.
his voice drops and stuff. He starts cracking and stuff.
Yeah.
There's some lines where he cracks.
So
So all in all, great show.
it was a very sad, just watching just Sean go through all that. And
Yeah.
This show was one of the first shows that I've ever felt attached to these characters up until How I Met Your Mother. Because How I Met
Yeah.
Your Mother ended, and I was very attached to those characters.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I've been super attached to any characters
Until
for
now.
a show
It's
until the second season.
it started
of
adding
Boy Meets
that
World.
drama to the comedy.
And
it
Well,
started.
it started
putting-
adding, I guess, things that I related to a little bit more in the second season than the first season.
It wasn't just joke. I mean, the first season was funny. There were life lessons,
Yeah.
but the lessons here are now more organic instead of, oh, this is what I learned today. It's more like you get it within the story, and you kind of see it through these characters' growth.
And it's
And
not.
you kind of see it through your point of view. You see it oh, I related to this, and this is what I'm going to take.
Like,
from
who
it.
doesn't relate with, middle school, and
Awkwardness.
dating and awkwardness. Because Corey's about as awkward you can get
Yes.
for a kid.
Yeah.
At least a normal, socially stable kid.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's true. What the show did that was so different compared to other shows at this time. Think about like Saved by the Bell. Everybody thought like Zach Morris was so cool, right? And that's what you like wanted to be. But this is the first like show I feel that like this kid's a nerd, but like people relate to it because there are more people that are more like nerds than they are about the cool kid. You know what I mean? It's like why all of like Big Bang Theory and stuff is famous now. People are more related to that than they can about like the pretty kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I feel like this is the first show that really hit hard as this is just an average guy. He's not the cool guy. He's not the player. He's just an average dude going through stuff that average guys go through. But anyways, what do you think?
I thought it was a lot more funnier than the first season. I really enjoyed it a lot more than the first season. I related to it a lot more just because I remember how awkward I used to be in middle school, and I related to the characters a lot more. Sean at some points, Corey at some points, and even Eric at some points when he's like stressing about certain things.
Yeah.
So no, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot better than the first season.
Point?
Points.
Woo! Good.
This is cheating.
Okay, you're gonna do this again? Come on,
This
dude.
is cheating.
It's my favorite show.
One of my favorite things about Boy Meets World is it gets better as you go through the seasons, in my opinion. This one, it was a lot. Everybody got more fleshed out. Everybody got more jokes. Because I always felt like it was just Sean and Corey cutting up everywhere the first season, which was fine. But if you kept doing that, I don't think Boy Meets World would have turned into what it was. You start adding those threads of the drama of the growth in the characters, and it really fleshes out the story really well. I give you a point begrudgingly.
Yeah.
Because I liked the show anyways. You knew I was going to.
So my thought always was, here's my order. 6, like in terms of seasons, in terms of quality.
Oh, okay.
It goes 6, 5, 4, 7, 3, 2, 1. Always goes down except for the 7th season, which I wouldn't really enjoy. So
you're saying that this is like the second worst season?
So that's the way I used to think about it. Rewatching this, I think this is close to the top. This or the 5th season. The 5th season is really, really good and a really good season. But like I used to always think it got better and better and better. This season, I forgot how great this was with Harley and Mr. Turner. They really made this season good.
Yeah.
And I think it's a lot better than I remember it being. I remember used to thinking Mrs. Corey's still kind of annoying, then he gets better and better. But I think this is more of what like nostalgia for me.
It's definitely more Corey-ish.
Exactly, and this is how I remember being when I was his age. When I was little, I was like, I'm not like Corey. I'm more like Sean. But now that I'm older, I'm definitely like Corey. You know what I mean?
Everyone wants to be the Sean. Everyone wants to be the cool guy.
Right, exactly.
And everyone wants to
think
they're
everybody
the cool
wants
guy,
to be me.
Yeah, and everyone wants to be Justin. That's how it was when I was growing up. I was like, I want to be Justin.
Well, Justin wants to be Mr. Feeney, so technically you wouldn't be like Mr. Feeney.
So true. But all to say, I really liked watching this again. I was kind of surprised with how many times I watched this show. This time, how much I like this season.
Yeah,
definitely to keep going. I want to go on to season 3, and I really enjoyed it. So
Chris is ahead by
1.5.
1.5.
But next week, we already know John's not going to give a point for this. Justin,
I mean, I could.
Justin, what are we watching?
You don't know.
Next week, we're watching the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, I'm finally watching the Mighty Ducks.
I am a pretty big hockey nut. I love hockey. I love everything about it. And Mighty Ducks was one of my favorite movies as a kid.
Right.
Because it kind of fed my hockey addiction when I was a kid. Because when I was about 8 or 9, Dallas Stars won the Stanley Cup. Mm-hmm. So it got me really into hockey around that time.
And we're all from Texas.
Do what?
We're all from Texas. It's probably worth saying.
I would say I thought you said they're all from Texas. Like, no, most of them are Canadian.
right. We're all from Texas. And so we were going to watch this little backstory in season 1, but we did not because John was going to take it and he decided he didn't want to.
I don't know why John took it.
No, I don't know why I took it either. But
you want to
someone suggested Aladdin. I wanted to do Aladdin. It just matched up.
Yeah, it did. Okay, but explain the story behind when we recorded it and what happened with a fan.
Oh, okay. So I made this decision to switch it. And
probably the day before we recorded. So
yeah, it was the day. It was the day after we recorded.
Well, you made a decision the day before.
Yes,
Yeah.
we made a decision the day before recording that we were going to switch Mighty Ducks to Aladdin.
Yeah.
Because this fan wanted to record this, and I was like, I don't want to do Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
Let's do Aladdin. So then the day after we recorded, this fan messaged me, and he goes, I am so happy that you're doing Mighty Ducks. And I was like, shit.
We all felt terrible.
I didn't really.
Absolutely.
Wasn't really my fault.
Terrible.
We had literally just recorded
We had
Aladdin.
just recorded the day before, and I was feeling great about it. I was like, Aladdin was such a good episode, and no, like that just ruined my bubble real fast.
Yeah. Poor guy.
So this guy is Cody. So shout out to Cody.
Shout out to
Cody. We are going to do Mighty Ducks because you definitely want it.
Yeah,
And,
honestly, Cody, if you hadn't said anything, you're probably gonna put it later on. But we decided to do it pretty early on in the season because
And it's mine, Cody, so you know it's going to be good.
you'll get points.
you get points. Is that what you're saying?
It is the movie, by the way. I don't know if we said that.
I'm pretty psyched
Yes, the
for
Mighty
this.
Ducks movie. It's not the.
I don't think we've done a
it's not the
sports movie
animated
yet,
TV
have
show.
we?
We haven't done it, but we're gonna do more sports movies in the future. But we have.
Oh, wait, no, we
no,
did Space Jam.
Space Jam and Air Bud.
Air Bud.
The best one.
So,
Pretty sure it's not the best one.
when I was a kid, I watched a lot of sports movies.
We have a lot of more coming up too. We're gonna do some more
Sandlot.
Sandlot. We're gonna do some. I think we're gonna do
When the
Little-
World Series comes around, I think we're doing Sandlot.
Yeah, we're gonna do Little Giants at some point. Which is
Little
gonna be-
Giants is
was
greatness.
awesome.
It's gonna be a good movie.
Giants
So
is
we're,
such a
we're gonna
good
do some
movie.
sports
Any
movies.
any good kids sports
Me-
movies from the 90s or early 2000s, bring them up because we've probably seen them.
Yep, and we
So-
will definitely talk about it. This Thursday, we'll also have a visual clip video about Boyd's World. We didn't do this one last season because I hadn't started the visual clips yet. So, do the season.
Yeah, so he started visual clips with what? Spider-Man?
Spider-Man, yeah. So, this time I'll do it for Boy Meets
Those
World.
visual clips are pretty funny.
Yeah,
I
they're pretty-
like them a lot.
It's some of the
I
best
like 'em a
clips.
lot. I do watch those.
Yeah, it's literally just clips that we feel like you need to see it to know what we're talking about. Like, we'll probably have the revolving door. We'll have clips of the revolving door in this one where it's just like the boys' room, Mr. Feeney's office. We'll do stuff like that so you can see what we're talking about.
And they're not that long. They're like 5 minutes.
5 minutes, not bad
Yeah.
at all. Yep. All right, so then tell us about.
Where can you
So
contact
you can find
us?
it. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Most of my stuff that I do is on Instagram. So if you want to check out some of our content, if you want to check out pictures of us actually doing some of the podcasts, and
nice.
huh?
Oh, nice. I know we're doing that. Cool. Put some makeup on. Do my hair.
Follow
Do
us,
your
like
hair.
us, tweet at us,
Call me, meet me if you want to meet me.
give us a heart.
We should do Kim Possible.
Yeah, we'll do
We
that.
should. I like Kim Possible. I'm not afraid to admit that.
All
Does that
right,
make me less of a man? I don't know.
a little bit.
But anyway, yeah, if you want to follow us on any of those, it's at Another Man's Pod.
Something we forgot to say the last couple of weeks is you can also email us on gmail.com.
Yeah, you can also
Another
email
man's
us.
pod at gmail.com.
If you're into that outdated
I'm tired of
technology.
Justin's demands here. Every single episode, I'm tired of his demands that he gives.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you next
Where are
week.
my orange slices?
We'll see you next
Where's
week.
my champagne?
Champagne.
Champagne. Next week with the Mighty Ducks. Thank you all for listening.
Peace.